Barack Obama is Joe Biden's godfather. Joe Biden is a stooge of the American deep state. The American deep state wants the Middle East to be torn apart by an eternal war. The war keeps the arms industry flush with cash. So what if Iran gets a nuclear bomb in the process? At least Biden would have pleased Obama. At least Obama would have his ego and legacy restored. The United States might be digging its own grave in the region, but who cares as long as warmongering Democrats scratch each other's backs. Hi and welcome to TFI Global, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I am your host Sanbir, and in this video we talk about the Biden administration's untiring efforts to gift Iran with a nuclear bomb. US President Joe Biden has always prioritized a return to the 2015 Iran nuclear deal, also known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, the brainchild of former President Barack Obama. The US and Iran will be face to face in Vienna next week as the European Union takes upon itself to intermediate between the two sides and achieve an amicable solution. After weeks of secret diplomacy between the US and Iran failed, the Biden administration seems to have resorted to using the EU as a tool of restoring Barack Obama's disastrous legacy while also medicating his bruised ego. Iran has once again reiterated that any constructive talk with the US regarding a return to nuclear compliance would only take place if all sanctions imposed on it are rolled back at once. Although the United States has officially denied the very prospect of doing so, the Biden administration really does not have any choice. The issue here is of Obama's ego and of what he and his lackeys call the Obama legacy. Among them is Obama's protege, President Joe Biden. As such, a return to the Iran nuclear deal is a must for the Biden administration, notwithstanding the costs and catastrophic geostrategic ramifications of the same. The Biden administration is beginning to run out of options in face of Iran's obstinacy to have all sanctions lifted at once. Abandoning the nuclear deal is not an option for the White House's current occupants, and Iran very well knows the same, which is why it has started gaming the Biden administration. Right during his presidential campaign, Joe Biden went around town expressing his willingness to resuscitate the JCPOA. Iran realized his desperation and is now fully leveraging the same to its own benefit. It is only after it became certain that Joe Biden would succeed Donald Trump that Iran announced its plans of enriching uranium to 20% purity. This remains short of the 90% required mark to produce a nuclear bomb. But under the 2015 agreement, Iran was supposed to keep enrichment below 4%. By officially announcing that it was enriching uranium to 20% purity by January this year, Iran made it known that it was fast pacing towards the nuclear bomb, which could alter the geopolitical realities of the Middle East. Donald Trump's maximum pressure policy against the Shiite nation would have achieved either the collapse of the Islamic regime in Tehran or the country making a nuclear bomb. In case Iran created the nuclear bomb, global isolation and the continuation of a sanction-ridden economy would have made existence unfeasible for Iran. Joe Biden, however, has no roadmap of where he wants to go with Iran. His only goal seems to be that of restoring Obama's legacy, no matter what the costs. Make no mistake, even if the US and Iran do return to the nuclear deal or carve out a new one altogether, Iran will not halt its nuclear ambitions. For the Biden administration to think that it would is foolishness of the highest order. Of course, Joe Biden can be a fool, but his entire administration cannot. Yet, they are all working in tandem to prostrate before Iran and signing the nuclear deal with it. The nuclear deal might surely prolong the process of Iran manufacturing the bomb, but it will in no way impede its eventual ambitions to be a nuclear-powered country. Iran, even as a part of the 2015 nuclear deal, was working towards making the bomb. Its civil nuclear program was aiding its military nuclear ambitions. The residue of the radioactive material being produced as a part of its civil nuclear program was, in turn, being weaponized for ultimately manufacturing the bomb. Fooling IAEA inspectors was no big deal for Iran, although the inspectors did realize that Iran was not complying with the nuclear deal. This was the very reason why Donald Trump withdrew from the deal. Knowing very well what Iran has been up to all these years, while also being aware of the fact that Tehran would not comply with any new nuclear deal, Joe Biden is going ahead and making moves to talk to Iran, showing that he has ulterior motives of destabilizing the Middle East once again, a region where peace was brought by Donald Trump. Of course, that imperiled the American deep state and arms industry, which now seems to be using its proxy in the White House to weaponize Iran with a nuclear bomb, thus sending the region into a tizzy all over again. Domestically, for his vivid submission before the Islamic regime in Tehran, Joe Biden is facing increasing pressure from Republicans, fellow Democrats, and even former hostages. Americans who were made hostage by Iran are seeing right through Tehran's game while also observing how Joe Biden, for reasons best known to him, is playing right into it. Shui Wang, a former hostage in Iran, said Americans should know Team Biden's approach to reassert US global leadership is to appease authoritarian regimes. Iran knows it can strong-arm the Biden administration. What's worse, Biden is willingly being strong-armed and beginning to talk with Iran. This is not going to end well for the US, as Iran, once armed with a nuclear bomb, which it most definitely will, would take to kicking Americans out of the region. It would become even more aggressive against Arab nations and Israel. Essentially, Joe Biden is himself digging America's grave in the Middle East.